Let's have a session on Edexcel Paper 1. This is for A-level business. So we're going to have a topic recap here, looking at some big topics based on the advanced information, and the link for the advanced information is below in the description box. Please make sure you know it well walking into your exams. Topic number 1, distribution. So remember, distribution is placed within the marketing mix. And distribution is the movement of goods and services from the source through a distribution channel right up to the final customer. Types of distribution channels. The first, direct, where the business sells directly to the consumer. Advantages, more control over price and therefore able to set a price that maximizes objectives. Issues, possible lack of exposure without having a successful intermediary, being that retailer or wholesaler, and therefore customers may lose competitors with a stronger brand image. The next, direct to retailer, where the business sells the product to a retailer who then sells it on. Advantages, increased exposure from association with retailer's brand image, and therefore increased sales and customer retention, and therefore improved reputation. Issues, loss of control in distribution, therefore the retailer may set prices that do not reflect the business's objectives, and customers may perceive the business differently for the worse. The next is a traditional physical channel, where the producer sells to a wholesaler that then sells to the retailer who then sells to the consumer. Advantages, wholesalers are likely to buy in bulk and therefore will get purchasing economies of scale, and that will lower the average cost per unit, which means they're able to sell products at a lower price, and therefore higher sales for the business, leading to increased exposure, and it might strengthen brand loyalty. Issues, more intermediaries and therefore less control for the business, and therefore make the price products that don't reflect the producer's intention. And that might lead to a perception issue, so a different perception of the brand in the consumer's mind. The next is producer to agent to broker to wholesaler to retailer to consumer. Advantages, agents have more knowledge and expertise of specific markets domestically and internationally. Therefore that maximizes exposure and brand building of the business. And that might lead to higher customer retention and loyalty in the long term. Issues, more intermediaries means less control, and therefore they may set prices that do not reflect intentions of the business, do not match those objectives. For example, higher prices to maximize profit margins. Therefore, there could be a fall in customer satisfaction and a loss of market share. The factors affecting the choice of the distribution channel. Essentially, these would be evaluation points. It might be it depends on the type of product. It depends on the costs involved. It depends on the type of market. It depends on the amount of control that producers want. And it depends on the value of the product. For a further recap on channels of distribution, click the card up there. Topic number 2, international trade and business growth. So a reminder, exports and imports. Imports are goods and services bought in one country from another, and exports are goods and services sold to another country. And the current account measures imports and exports. So specialisation is when a country concentrates on the production of a limited range of goods and services. The benefits of this: higher quality products, therefore higher customer satisfaction and increased brand loyalty. Additionally, economies of scale by producing the same product on a larger scale, and that might lead to improved profit margins because of a lower average cost per unit. Issues with specialisation: the dependence on one product line and revenue stream, and therefore a lack of collateral or resilience in the event of an economic shock or decline in sales. Additionally, a knock-on effect to the rest of the economy, therefore higher unemployment in other industries and therefore less purchasing power of consumers. Comparative advantage is the ability of a country to be more efficient in production of one type of good than another type of good. FDI, foreign direct investment, is where a firm is operating in one country and chooses to operate a part of its business in another country. Advantages of FDI: creates jobs resulting in higher household incomes, higher government tax revenue to provide more subsidies and grants for businesses. Businesses can invest in infrastructure to lower transport costs. Businesses bring technology and innovation to the country to encourage R&D, research and development. Issues of FDI: high initial costs of moving and setting up. Businesses may bring their own workers or have capital intensive systems, so new jobs won't be created, and tax revenue may be lower due to the MNCs having too much power. Topic number 3, factors contributing to globalisation. So the first thing is, if you're not sure on the topic of globalisation, click the card up there for an extensive video. Now, globalisation is the process where national economies become increasingly integrated and interdependent. Trade liberalisation. So this is the removal or reduction of restrictions on the free exchange of goods between nations. An example is the EU is a trading bloc where tariffs have been removed. Number 2 of the factors contributing to globalisation is FDI, foreign direct investment, when a business makes an investment in a foreign country, and that will increase employment and spread business activity, access to global markets and reduction of reliance on one revenue stream. Number 3, migration, the supply of low-cost labour, and therefore that leads to cost competitiveness. Highly skilled labour, and therefore improved productivity and quality of operations, however, can be overcrowding and lead to domestic unemployment. Number 4, growth of trading blocs, emerging markets. Trading blocs are intergovernmental agreement where barriers to trade are reduced or eliminated among the member states. Number 5, political change. Changes on the movement of goods and services, the level of protectionist measures used, tensions with other countries may also affect trade. Number 6, emerging markets middle class. Middle class will have a rising disposable income as a result of a fast growing economy, such as India or China. And consumers will then have a higher demand for imports from abroad. Number 7, technology advances. Improved internet connection allows greater communication at a lower cost than before. Number 8, containerization, a method of intermodal freight transport. The costs of ocean shipping have come down due to containerization, bulk shipping and other efficiencies. Number 9, structural change. Increased contribution to national income from the tertiary sector due to higher returns. This increases employment of high-skilled labour and demand for services internationally, and therefore strengthens global brands. However, may cause decline in profits of manufacturing, the secondary sector, and extraction, primary industries, the primary sector. Finally, MNC growth. Multinational corporations are businesses that set up in multiple countries around the world. Expansion into other countries by businesses to transform into global brands. Can invest in a country's infrastructure to reduce cost of transportation, however, it does reduce cultural diversity. Topic 4, trading blocs. Trading blocs, an agreement made between governments where barriers to trade are reduced or eliminated among the participating states. Preferential trade area, a trading bloc that gives preferential access to certain products from the participating countries. A free trade area, a group of countries that have few or no tariffs or quotas between each other. A customs union, a group of countries that have agreed to charge the same import duties as each other and usually to allow free trade between themselves. A common market, a group of countries imposing few or no duties on trade with one another, and a common tariff on trade with other countries. Benefits of trading blocs. Free movement of goods and services therefore enables firms to be cost competitive internationally, and therefore able to lower prices without reducing profit margins. Access to larger market, for example Europe with the EU, increases the size of the customer base and therefore benefit from economies of scale, lower average cost per unit and therefore higher sales from lower prices, and an increased market share and possibly strength of brand. Factor mobility in single market enables firms to employ high skilled workers without incurring additional costs. The issues of trading blocs. Increased size of market means more competition, and therefore constantly having to improve and invest to maintain competitiveness, therefore financial strain and potentially lower profits. Less resilience to economic shocks, for example EU recession, therefore will have a knock-on effect to all businesses, branches of business within the trading bloc, therefore significant fall in profits and sales. Firms may not get an agreement that suits them, and therefore competitive disadvantage to other multinational corporations, for example higher costs with regulations or taxes, therefore a loss of global market share. Topic 5, global competitiveness. Benefits of global competitiveness for MNCs. Larger economies of scale from global operations, therefore cost competitive. Global sourcing of materials, therefore best quality materials, most cost effective. MNCs can diversify risk and therefore reduce dependence on one revenue stream and therefore increase resilience to economic shocks. Brand strength, therefore price inelastic demand with a better reputation. So the effect of exchange rate fluctuations on business. This time it's appreciation, a strengthening exchange rate. So in the case of an appreciation, imports become cheaper, therefore lower raw material costs for business, leading to lower cost per unit, leading to be able to lower prices whilst maintaining profit margins. This will mean increased sales, volume and revenue, and you become more globally competitive, a good thing. Exports become more expensive, therefore foreign buyers need more of their currency to purchase goods. This could be a deterrent for value-conscious, price-conscious customers, leading to lower sales and less globally competitive. When it is a depreciation, a weakening currency, exports become cheaper, therefore cheaper for foreign buyers with their currency, therefore more attractive to value-conscious customers, price-conscious customers, therefore higher demand for products abroad, leading to increased global competitiveness. However, imports become more expensive, therefore higher cost of raw materials for businesses, therefore higher cost per unit, leading to upward pressure on price to maintain profit margins. Therefore less attractive to foreign buyers and less globally competitive. The next consideration is exchange rate evaluation points. So the exchange rate's effects depends on the price elasticity of demand. The more elastic price elasticity of demand is, the more significant the impact. Economic growth in other countries. Recessions in other countries will mean depreciations in the exchange rate will have no effect and cause a fluctuation in exchange rate. Fluctuations from uncertainty could make businesses uncompetitive due to a lack of consumer confidence in other countries. For more details on exchange rate, click the card up there. Continuing with topic 5, global competitiveness. So competitive advantage, cost competitiveness. So offering the same products, service as competitors at a lower cost, therefore leading to larger profit margins. Or the business could choose to reduce prices and maintain the same profit margin whilst offering a lower price to customers, therefore it's more appealing and leads to higher sales revenue. Competitive advantage when it's differentiation. So modifying aspects of a product to meet customer demands and differentiate from the competition. Higher quality products with a USP will command a higher price. It becomes price inelastic due to the USP, and this might lead to revenues and profits increasing. However, a firm needs protection if it uses differentiation. Examples of protection include brand recognition. This leads to increased exposure for product and loyal customers trust it meets their demands. Or intellectual property, IP. This prevents other businesses copying ideas and that allows them to differentiate. The impact of skill shortages on competitiveness, one of two. Access to cheap and or high skilled labour gives firms a competitive advantage. Cheap labour, therefore lower total cost per unit, therefore lower prices whilst maintaining profit margins, leads to higher sales and increased global competitiveness. High skilled labour leads to more efficient and higher quality products, lower cost per unit with increased output via economies of scale, and can now command a higher price due to quality, leads to increased sales and profit. Continuing with the impact of skill shortages on competitiveness. So skill shortages are detrimental to businesses. Due to a lower supply of high skilled labour, firms may have to pay higher salaries to attract them to work for them, which increases the financial burden on the business and cost per unit. A business may be forced to employ low skilled labour who are inefficient, wasteful, and less productive. This would mean the cost per unit increases, diseconomies of scale, and higher prices wouldn't warrant higher sales due to a lack of customer satisfaction. More details on the next topic, which is topic 6, the impact on MNCs. Click the card up there. So MNCs, multinational corporations, are firms that have operations in more than one country, headquarters in one, branches in others. Whilst transnational corporations, firms that don't have a distinct founding country and are in several different countries. Positive impacts of MNCs on the local economy. Increases local employment, therefore higher wages improve living standards and purchasing power. Encourage local businesses to innovate and become more efficient and able to compete, also need them for supplies and to outsource tasks, therefore B2B sales for domestic firms. Strong links to local communities, for example fundraising, therefore increases credibility and exposure of events. MNCs invest in local infrastructure, therefore improve mobility of labour and reduce transport costs. A wider choice of goods and services available to customers. Negative impact of MNCs on local economy. May enter a country to exploit economies of scale rather than help society. May cause decline in sales for domestic businesses, leading to unemployment. May bring their own workforce from the home country and therefore no improvements to employment. Positive impacts of the MNC on the national economy. So FDI increases, therefore improves economy's balance of payments, raises the value of human capital, leading to high-skilled workforce, and increases government tax revenue, therefore more incentives available for existing businesses. Negative impacts of MNC on the national economy. Environmental impact could be a depletion of natural resources, creates sustainability issues, and it's bad PR for the country. MNC profits are often repatriated, they go back to the home country, and they may dictate economic policy and negotiate lower tax rates due to power and value to country. Best of luck with paper 1, and I'll see you at the next sesh.